Hi, I'm Nick Palmisano, and this is the Bad News Network. Let's start this week off by talking about using our words. You know, people have rightly criticized the president for using incendiary language, maybe even inciting and encouraging violence. As a freedom-loving American and a violence connoisseur, there is a time and place for violence. But that time and place is not during a political debate. So that's why I'm straight flummoxed by the fact that the press keeps giving the left a pass on advocating violence. Ted Cruz is pushed out of a restaurant by an angry mob. In the media, it's just filled with excuses of why that's okay. Maxine Waters, she's standing in the center of a town and she's encouraging the harassment of Trump supporters and voters everywhere, anytime, any place. Hillary Clinton sits there and says that we cannot be civil with people on the opposing side that have an opposing view. Don't be civil with them. It's getting crazy, and she gets a complete pass. A total and a complete pass because the left says it's okay as long as it's on that side. And now we have a mob outside of Tucker Carlson's home, passionately, violently crushing a 4-inch thick wooden door. I mean, 4 inches! That's massive. And it is just out of control. Things are getting out of control. I don't care if Tucker Carlson is a nerd. I don't care if he has a really punchable face. I don't care that he wears bow ties. I don't care about any of it. I realize that he can be really dickish. But if you want to get violent, if you want to bring violence to the political debate, if you want to get physical, join the Army. The Army's great. The Marines are violent. Even the Navy's a little violent. But listen, it cannot happen in political discourse. The fact that you think somebody is super mean gives you the right to punch them in the face, you are sorely mistaken. That's wrong. Somebody's gonna lose it. Somebody's gonna go insane. Someone's gonna die. If we're lucky, it's gonna be that maniac on the other side of the door trying to break it in. I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Who wants some? Who wants some? Who wants it? You want some, Zach?
I don't want any.
I don't fucking care. Who wants some of this? I hate this. God, this is irritating. Why would you do that? Why would you break in? It's just...
Yo, Nick. Have a Snickers.
So yeah, stop trying to solve political problems with violence and stuff. In political news, this week marked the end of the midterm elections and the blue wave turned into more of a blue puddle. The Republicans picked up 3 seats in the Senate and the Democrats picked up 31 seats in the House, which can only be described as completely average midterm election results. By way of comparison, it's almost exactly the same loss that President Bush had after his second election and that Reagan had after his first election. It is almost precisely half the losses that President Clinton and President Obama had after their first elections. And it is drastically lower than the average loss that the ruling party has for every midterm election in the last 100 years. One area that many people are excited about, however, is that female turnout was far higher than expected in this election. I, for one, am also excited. It's high time you women out there started pulling your weight. What? If I can't be sarcastically misogynistic in an internet video, is this even America anymore? Let's get away from politics for a second. A man with no pants fell through the ceiling of a Waffle House this week. He then got up, ordered 3 eggs, some waffles, and a side of sausage. The police were not called because it's Waffle House. Waffle House employees are very much like the police in that they are no longer surprised by the cesspool that is humanity. In serious news, there was another mass shooting in America this week when an ex-Marine walked into a bar with the Glock and murdered 12 people. The press latched on to the fact that this disgraced veteran had post-traumatic stress, even though veterans and psychiatrists everywhere have repeatedly let everyone know that PTS and murder have absolutely no correlation. On a separate note, the solution to gun violence is not going to be simple. It's absolutely going to involve people that have respect for both the Second Amendment and for human life
to go into a room together, sit down, and start throwing multiple ideas on the board, even if some of those ideas are initially going to trigger negative results. We have an entire generation of men right now that is disenfranchised, lonely, and riddled with mental illness. And absent intervention from grown-ups, the solution that these people find is a violent one that has had a profoundly negative effect on not only thousands of lives across the country, but on the nation as a whole. Being an adult and a leader means sitting down in that room, even if it gets uncomfortable at times, and trying to work towards a solution. Because that's what heroes do. In California, 3 separate wildfires ravaged the state, destroying over 100,000 homes and completely eliminating the town of Paradise, California. At one point, the wildfires in Northern California were ravaging the equivalent of 1 football field per minute. We here at BNN are thinking about all of you out there that have lost your homes, and we hope that your lives are restored as quickly as possible. This is a great time for the rest of the country to come together and support these people financially, and I strongly believe that we as a nation will do just that. In international news, 17 people were killed and 20 were injured in Mogadishu when 2 bombs were set off next to a minibus at a hotel as well as a CID headquarters. It's unclear why these attacks happened, but it's probably the same warlord terrorist stuff that has plagued Somalia since the dawn of time. And finally, in some positive local news, Ranger Up is throwing the first annual Ranger Up Grappling Classic at Chapel Hill High School in Chapel Hill, North Carolina tomorrow for charity. The entire event is in place to support the Orange County Veterans Memorial, and we are giving out giant medals to the amazing participants in this event. If you've played jiu-jitsu before or even have an Army Combatives Level 1, then come on down and compete. If you haven't, come watch and hang out with me and Tim Kennedy, and then we're gonna have a sweet after party tomorrow night at Top of the Hill in Chapel Hill. And with that, I'm Nick Palmisano, and this is the Bad News Network. Our news is at least as bad as the news you're getting already, and right now everything sucks, but that doesn't mean that you have to.